Hey guys, we're back. Thanks for watching that break. So it took a lot longer than expected, but we are ready to go. Frozen Temple with Byun versus Super. TVP best of 3. Let's hop right into it. Alright, let's see here. So we've had sad face, no recent contributions to the moderator prize pool, but that's okay. We've had quite a few giveaway signups though, which is good to see.
New ice and new subs, including Pratekin. Is that your cousin? Is he your kin? Oh my god.
Oh, you figured it out.
Oh my god.
That's the secret. Yep. Alright. Sending out this SCV really early can only mean one thing. In the bottom right side of the map, playing on Korea, we got the blue Terran player, Byun.
In the top left, as the red Protoss, he is Super.
So it's worth noting that Byun really does not love this matchup for a lot of different reasons. To send a proxy out, it's like question marks on like whether this will be good or not. I don't know. Super is definitely the guy we said would probably be the scariest one for Byun to have to deal with in the group.
It's funny because it's really hard to say that after watching Byun dismantle a couple of the Protosses for his BlizzCon run with proxies like this.
Right, I mean, playing versus stats in the semifinals and all these things, like, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not saying like this is objectively bad for Byun. I just feel like for Terran in general, we don't see this be too effective. Byun? He's not even in the same category as the rest of the Terran out there. He's his own race.
Yeah, he's the Byun race. The unstoppable.
Thank you, Cheshire Cat, by the way. Says, thanks for being the bulwark of the StarCraft 2 community with the 8-month resub. Well, thank you for watching. And of course, it's not just us. We wouldn't be able to have this awesome channel be the great community it is, but the moderators helping make things work and go around. Whether they're adminning behind the scenes for tournaments, whether they're running bets in chat like the delinquent Partoof users you are, or whether they're just banning and timing out the people who are kind of shitty. They take care of you all. And thank you mods of BaseTradeTV for being there for us.
We love you. I love you.
Now, on the way back from the bathroom, I grabbed a Reese's cup, so I'm going to mute myself for a moment while I eat it, because I'm quite hungry, and I didn't have breakfast.
Sounds like a champion's breakfast. Sounds like I might be jealous of a Reese's cup. Alright, so it is going to be a proxy up to the factory. He might even proxy the starport. Again, if you watch the BlizzCon games versus stats, I do believe, he, proxied every single building on Apotheosis, and I want to say he proxied Reaper on another map, but point is, it can happen. So what's kind of funny is that I really thought the full proxy on Apotheosis was genius because most Protoss players expect Reaper proxy. That's harassment proxy. So the worst that can happen is they lose like a couple of Reaper or probes to the Reapers, or they may have to deal with like a bunker that isn't even that threatening, and that's it. But it was actually like a full-on push. Frozen Temple, you actually would not be too surprised to see this not proxied, is kind of the funny thing, is that Super would definitely expect a one base push from a Terran player on this map. It's small, it's, you know, very direct, right down the middle, but instead of, you know, thinking, oh, he's on one base, okay, I got like, you know, 30 more seconds or a minute to go ahead and prepare here, oh shit, it's in my face, that's gonna be the biggest surprise. And it's actually even attacking for the pylons done. This is where the timing is really quite crucial.
Yeah, no overcharge immediately available. He did chase after the Adept for a second. There's going to be a whole extra shot that goes off on the pylon, but Super's got nothing, man. He's just going to lose the natural base, and there's nothing he can do about it. Now, the
thing is... Go ahead.
No, after you.
The thing is that he can't just kill the Nexus, since he is dedicated so hard to this. So he does go up in the new.
Yeah, no cancel, by the way. Trying to put down new pylons, still not going to quite cut it. The overcharge doesn't reach anything here. The Immortal's going to pop out and shoot at the tank, but honestly, the Marines have got such good damage, it's going to be hard for the Immortal to really kill much. It is not a bad saving grace, but as we see with the barrier on cooldown, no longer so good. Probes got pulled into that mess too. Tank's going to waste some shots on the natural?
A little bit. So unfortunately, without that barrier, the Immortal does go down. Yep, quick enough.
Oh, the micro on this other tank too, by the way. Byun saying back on Korea, baby. No latency whatsoever. Perfect micro like a god. GG. Hang on, I gotta see if Byun even lost that game. He lost 8 Marines and 1 SCV. That's all. No big deal.
You know what the biggest problem for Super was? Not scouting with a probe. He had no idea it was a one base build.
Ah,
But the
you know what?
thing is, even if he did, he might have not thought everything would have been proxied.
Well, okay, there's that aspect of it. You're right, but the scouting with the probe, I actually think is a lot more important. Not just because you want information on what Byun's doing, but this is Byun, who, even if you know what he's doing, you're gonna have a hard enough time playing against. But not knowing what he's doing, you're just asking for trouble yourself.
Yes. Well, hopefully Super learned a very harsh lesson there. The next map's King Sejong Station, and this is absolutely another map where you can have that same proxy just behind your rocks. I hope he scouts.
Okay, well, let's see how this turns out. By the way, shout out to Byun, showing you guys real quick, in lobby, sporting our Hell's a Boot Time portrait.
Hey.
I gave this guy the portrait code like half a year ago as a bit of a, like, thank you for playing in all the Alima leagues, but also just like, here's something special for you. I didn't expect him to actually use it, much less keep using it, but he told me Dallas Korean friends keep asking how to get one. So I guess the rarity of it has that appeal. It is the second rarest portrait in the game, for those who don't know.
First one's the community badge, right?
I believe so, yes.
There you go. Special.
And I think third is that one Chinese snake marine, or whatever that one event was. Nathanius uses it.
Hey. I didn't even know that existed.
It's like a marine, but it's like a cobra head instead of a human head. Anyways,
Cool.
Point is, there's some rare portraits out there for certain. I do love that they're bringing the Carbot ones in, but that's more to talk about later. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2. Spawning here in the bottom right side, he is up 1 game currently. It's going to be the blue Terran player, Byun.
In the top left, as the red Protoss, he is Super.
So I don't know who was the first to start doing it on Frozen Temple, but one of the first we got to watch, Thermal, started doing like those bunker pushes with the one base tank all-ins and such. And I don't know, again, like whether it was him or which Koreans set the pacing for it, but I love that Frozen Temple became this map where like you really are expecting, I think, all-ins on that map more than any other map nowadays. And I don't know, the map itself doesn't seem too conducive to it. It doesn't seem like the type of map, just at a glance, where you'd be like, oh yeah, this is where someone's going to all-in every single game. Like,
Yeah, at a glance, no. I mean, it's history too. It doesn't say actually that many proxies, but there are a lot of proxies.
I'm thinking back too, like you have maps in the pool back in the day, like Yansu or Polar Night, and those maps were very understandable at a glance why all-ins would happen, especially if it's like Blink or something. Ugh. But Frozen Temple just doesn't stand out to me as being that different, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the map King Sejong, I guess, is also like another map that is just adapted to being a lot of proxies. Even though it's been around for a very long time, because of course it was around 2 years ago.
Something like
point?
that, yeah.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, it was one of the... People said it was one of the most perfect maps ever, actually. I think that was a bit of an overstatement. Of course, everyone says that Daybreak was the most balanced map.
By the way, we've had a couple contributions to the prize pool since the last we spoke. Thank you to Higgins _ for donating $4. Says mod appreciation.
Nice.
Also fear of Gina. I like it. And then Laser SEQ donates $10 and says for the mods. Of course, that reminder does need to be stated that this is not only just a prize pool for the players, but also the mods. So you're helping everybody. It's I said it earlier, I'll say it again. It's like a shotgun blast of support with your dollars, because some of it's going to touch the players, some of it's going to hit the mods.
It's a shotgun blast of love.
No, a
Not
shotgun blast of love is
Hey.
They call it one pump chump for a reason.
Wow. We're off this topic. So, it's funny then. We talk about proxies, we talk about Byun obviously just doing a proxy. He doesn't choose to do it on King Sejong. And I can kind of see that, because you do that proxy and you're like, well, they're going to scout me, they're going to see it, and they're going to maybe even be able to kill my SCV before it's done building like the factory, and that would be like kind of game over. But Super didn't scout again. Like, Byun could have totally gotten away with a one base build, proxy or not. That just surprises me. He did go for a Stargate opener, which I feel is kind of like the attempted catch-all of defenses against early aggression from Terran, but even then it's still kind of difficult. Well, and he's going Phoenixes too, not an Oracle opener.
Super for me is a very interesting player for a couple of different reasons. One of them being when he first won our tournament, Oh gosh, I just had the name. It was that stupid cross server one we did. I was kind of like, oh, who's this Protoss coming out of nowhere? Because he's back on like Invasion back in the day or something, right? And then he's gotten really far in like Ting and not doing too bad in others. And to me, especially with watching him in the Alima League, turns out to be a pretty good Protoss, generally speaking. To do things like not scout Byun just seems like such a rookie move. But there's this one part of me that wants to say, like, I'm wondering if he's doing this because he figures, like, it doesn't matter whether I know Byun's doing, I'm gonna lose anyway.
Wow. I hope not. But,
I hope not as well, but there's that, like, 1% chance.
That'd be pretty brutal. No, I really just don't know why we won't just scout. Because a probe scout just feels so useful. I mean, maybe some Horses would disagree because they just get sniped by the Reaper eventually, but I don't know.
So both one of mine get cleaned up. I like the move there to Byun, by the way, to send one in through the front, just walk it in and drop the other, but it was, again, both of them caught pretty quickly. That's the nice thing about Phoenix too, they can lift all that up and police the drops, and for Byun, drops are kind of synonymous with him. So these Phoenixes could have a huge role in the game.
It looks like Super, recall that we saw Super versus Scarlet earlier on, a ZVP. He went Void Ray Colossus, which was just like, alright buddy. He's going to be going for Colossus again. This is more common lately than what he did versus Scarlet, I would say, but it still is something that's a little bit new, like bringing back Colossus, not just in mid to late game, but like early mid game, you know, like getting them almost on 2 bases, in fact, which is pretty damn quick. So it's a lot like back in Heart of the Swarm, when you only had like 5 units to buffer for 1 Colossus, and if you messed that up, then you just died.
Well, we'll find out which direction this heads. I mean, Colossus are a lot more common, and that's what we are going to see. I always cross my fingers, though, because as not good as they can be, that one time the Disruptor gets a good hit, you're like, oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes super worth, but especially against someone who is so prone to multi-pronged harassment, it can be really hard to get the Disruptor having that good hit and controlling it well enough. You know, Colossus can kind of stay, you know, unmicroed to an extent, of course, but a little more than Disruptor.
Quick reminder, by the way, we still have one more best of 3 after this, regardless of how this series goes, and the loser will fight against Scarlet in the grand finals of the group. I'm kind of actually now rooting for Super a little bit. I want to see Scarlet versus Super go play out again, maybe get some revenge. On the other hand, Byun dying would be a really cool upset, and I'd love to see Scarlet versus Byun. Straight up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, either way, I'd be pretty happy. Well, he did not only get Phoenix in the Stargate, he is adding on a couple of Void Rays too, which is
a little bit odd.
Very interesting. Yeah. Center Lance is not quite done, and as I was saying, there's like a couple of units here that are pretty key. I guess there's also pylons though, so Byun is not going to be able to rush in there.
I mean,
as tempting as it might look.
Super really does have a small army supply in comparison, but some of that gets leveled up by the fact that splash damage and adepts are just going to be better than Marines in general. But man, if he can just overwhelm, I mean, he's doing some really interesting hit and run tactics, not dedicating and just kind of half fighting around the force field. Decides to send a couple units north and try and drive off the probes for mining. Most of the adepts almost gone.
Oh.
Once that wall falls and that fodder disappears, that Colossus is next, but second Colossus joins the fight and Byun is going to have to fly home.
Yeah, that was a little bit scary, but thankfully that last warp in, and just the fact that, of course, it was just Marines. If there's a couple Marauders in here, the Colossus might at least be like really low health, but maybe even dead. But it was just pure Marines. Byun has a follow-up force, though. I mean, keep in mind, Byun is on 2 bases. He did not go for a 3rd CC, and he's pumping everything that he can out of all the personnel he's going to have. Maybe for the rest of the game, unless he can start doing some really nice damage. He's going to get this cancel on the 4th, guaranteed.
I love how you can still see the plus 300 even if you don't see the building actually get canceled.
It's a useful addition. I don't think it was there when StarCraft was initially released, but then we have 3 Colossus. That's a nice number, but it still can't take on a concave by itself.
Oh, no, maybe not, but the Marauders also get killed pretty much immediately. The Liberators aren't going to add too much, but the Bio now left remaining tries to get on top of the Colossus. One goes down, the second one barely going to fall. Maybe not even. Oh my god, that thing has 5 health remaining.
By the way, the Void Rays are helping out a lot, where the Phoenixes would take forever to kill the Liberators. Like, the Void Rays actually just, like, instantly
Melt
KO.
through 'em, yeah.
This is not going so well. Byun only has a certain amount of pushes before he will just lose. In fact, that was the last one for him. GG.
GG. Byun falls in game number 2, and Super will tie it up 1-1. One game remains. We're going to go to a small commercial break and get it out of the way, though. We'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Alright, folks, we're back. Thanks for watching that break. We're loading into game number 3 right now. And it's going to be on Frost for the final map. Everything now tied up 1 apiece. Bottom left side, we got the blue Terran. It's going to be Byun.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is Super.
And my browser is lagging. I don't actually know if that ad played or not.
Oh.
Hopefully it did.
Well, it did. So, I mean, Byun wins one game with an extreme proxy, extreme cheese. Loses another with kind of... It's an all-in, you know? It's not a cheese on a proxy, but it was an all-in on 2 bases. I wonder what his plan is for the third game. Is he actually going to play a macro game with like a third base and all? Can't necessarily proxy that well on Frost, but you can technically still one base. He's actually going for Command Center first. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it's a 4-player spawn map. You can play into that a little bit, right? You know that Super's not going to hit you right away. Funny enough, though, I guess 4-player map is also just enough to finally convince Super to scout. Probe actually leaves the base. It's like, whoa, man.
I think that he just really wants to see where his opponent is, I guess. But yeah, this is the first time that he sent it out to look for the base. See if there's a supply depot already down after the barracks or what. Unfortunately, scouts incorrectly and thus won't quite be able to tell even though it's a command center first.
By the way, bets at this point didn't go over. 32,872 on Byun, not too bad. 8,513 on Super, however. So if Super can keep this ball rolling, turn this into a 2-0 versus Byun, it's be a pretty nice upset.
It would. And then the Byun versus Scarlet match would be pretty baller. Well, still a game to play, and Byun does have what is going to be kind of a supercharged attack whenever he's ready to go, based on whenever medevacs are out. As the Command Center first does give you a bit of a bump in your timing or a bump in your production a little bit faster, and it sometimes can mean life or death if the Protoss is really playing Razor Thin, or the Zerg, not that you do many Command Center first versus Zerg anymore, but if they're playing like Razor Thin, they really think that they only have to depend on a certain number of Adepts or Colossus. You can actually surprise them, and that probe, all it saw was that there was a Marine. Now, around this time, the Reaper should probably have been, like, attacking and doing something, even if it scouted absolutely last. The Super might know that it was the Command Center first, but there's a possibility that it just was Byun not opening up with the Reaper, which some parents do, but it's still a one-rack command.
So while we have a bit of a slow opening, I want to get petty and salty about something real quick. So shoutouts, by the way, if you guys like Sidestorm Gaming, this is actually the positive side of this is the advertisement for it, right? One of the owners of Sidestorm Gaming is actually doing AMA on Reddit today. I guess there's a post that got stickied. You can check that out over on Reddit. It's from Filthy Rake, and if you like True or any of the guys that are on Sidestorm Gaming, definitely check that out and ask them about it. But the salty and petty part comes from this AMA. I feel has about as much to do with the relevance to StarCraft 2 as the Ting appreciation post. Yet instead of being deleted, this one instead gets stickied. The moderators of StarCraft Reddit are really shit.
Unfortunately, well, okay, so I'm not like saying that they should have deleted the Ting post, but I can see what their argument would be if you brought it up with them. Oh, we have a Blink Stalker all in the way? Ooh. But that if Psystorm was saying, here is the Razer keyboard team, then maybe they'd be like, oh, don't do that. But because they're just calling it a team name. But Ting is the team name of Ting.
So the other part of this too, though, is like in part of the thread. And again, shout out. I'm not ragging on the thread itself. I want to make that very clear. Like Psystorm and all the people on Psystorm, 2 thumbs up from Rifkin. It's the moderators I have issue with, because in this thread again, they're like, oh yeah, we had a player in WCS, so is Neeb. Like, we support the scene, so does Tank. Like, it's so irritating to me that that's what gets nitpicked out of it. But
yeah,
whatever.
Well, questioning what Byun is going to do, and he's still kind of getting ramped up here with his his starport only just finishing, but it's Super that's going to be applying the pressure here. Now he's on 5 gateways, not 7, so it's like dedicated pressure, shall we call it, but I don't know what it's going to do. I mean, Byun has a lot of bio with Stim.
Right, I think Byun was actually ready for this to some degree. The way he built his depots out, the way it spread himself around. Thank you, Cheshire Cat. We'll get to that in a second. The blink goes up to the high ground, and thanks to the depot vision, he knew this was going to happen, so some of those stalkers get absolutely obliterated. He's trying to pick them up with the Warp Prism, do some fancy micro, but Byun wrecks this so hard that that's game in 5.5 minutes.
Okay. So I guess to explain why Super just got absolutely wrecked there, because that made him look so bad.
It did, unfortunately.
Is that he didn't actually know what Byun was doing. He didn't know that it was Command Center first, or that it was a barracks build. It could have been a 1-1-1, but by then a mind drop would have come in, and that was on him to not recognize that, I think. But he probably just didn't realize it was a CC first, which gives you that little bit faster production, so your Stim is actually done, and didn't expect that many Marines. And you try and do a Blink Stalker attack like that, I think you're really depending on not being chased down by so many units.
Yeah.
But unfortunate.
Well, I feel like that was the whole series, though, in a nutshell. Like, Super didn't know what Byun was doing. That's the TLDR of that series.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't even Byun trying to be cheeky this time, right? Like going for his own 2 base all in or a super proxy, just him doing a build up, and then he was like, oh, you're just gonna attack into me. Okay.
Well, the last series today will be a best of 3 with Scarlet versus Super, so a rematch of the earlier set. Hopefully Scarlet is warmed up now and she doesn't get too owed. I would love to see her come back and win this in 2nd place. That being said, we just got a $30 donation from Cheshire Cat. Thank you so much, because Cheshire Cat also contributed to the actual Match Arena page as well. It says, big thanks to Rifkin and Zombie Grub for their extraordinary service to StarCraft, to the players, and to all the support staff. Well, thank you very much, man. And thank you for that contribution. Or maybe Cheshire Cat didn't contribute to the Match Arena page. Did they sub today? That name, we already said that name earlier. I think they subbed today is what they did.
Subbed. Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
I thought this was Mod Appreciation Day, BaseTradeTV. All mods matter. No, that's not true at all. The BaseTradeTV mods matter. It's like this whole week has been this revelation of remembering just how absolutely terrible other moderators are, be it on Reddit or other Twitch channels. Like, I have been spoiled by you guys, straight up. So thank you for being awesome. Alright, that being said, guys, we also had Krugerson add $40 to the prize pool / mod pool. It says, someday I will join a lottery jackpot or invent the wheel 2.0, and the players and mods at BaseTradeTV will feel the full wrath of my appreciation. You, sir, are the people that I would like to root for to win the lottery. Thank you so much, Krugerson, and thank you for bringing the prize pool for this up to $914. Actually, let's figure out how much Byun just won with that then. 914 times a quarter. $228 for first place. Not bad. And then I guess last place in the group would be $45 now. That's not bad. But these guys are playing for 2nd place, and that's going to be worth $137. So,
cool.
Best of 3, North America for quite a bit of cash. I guess Scarlett's in a replay right now, maybe looking over her games versus Super, just trying to prepare. So we're going to go to commercial break while she gets sorted, guys. We'll be back in a few moments with Vito's hopefully getting underway, and we'll see you soon. Don't forget as well, while we're at it, to enter the giveaway. Again, you're hearing me advertise this a lot. This is our last broadcast before Korea. We will not be casting anything else until the 17th. The 17th will be live with the Alima League. We actually have a video here on Twitch, which is the exact same video that is on YouTube, explaining what's happening with Korea, explaining when it's happening in Korea, and all this other good stuff. Plus, again, the giveaway. !giveaway, guys. So please check out the video, please check out the giveaway, and we'll see you all in a bit.